Hey guys and girls, BJ and GameDay back, round 19, 2 weeks to go. Well and truly into head-to-head finals. Boys and girls, welcome. We've got Brent, we've got Bogan, the whole team's here. Boys, how'd we go last week?
Hey mate, how guys? How are you tonight? 1,300 for me, Joshy. So wasn't anything too special. I think the trades went Luai to Cody Walker, which looked like a genius play on Thursday night there, but ended up costing me points in the end. And then I ended up using the last trade to bring in Anfanil Blake, who got injured. So look, take the 1,300, jumped about 900 spots, just outside the top 5K. Let's just finish strong, finish the year in the top 5K. I'll take it, bud. Bogan?
Yeah, 13.29 for me, which is above my average, but still not even close to cracking the 5,000. Still sitting in the 7,000 odd range. So.
Very good. Yeah, boys, I had 1376, a pretty solid week there last week. Managed to win a few head-to-heads and got over you in the BJ one there, Hampton. But I think I'm up to about 3,400 or something like that. So, again, still fair way away from all the top cats, but pointing in the right direction, which is nice. A bit of carnage today, boys, with team list revealed.
Yeah, it's thrown up absolutely teams into disarray. Any head-to-heads you're in knockout stages now, grand final prelims. Sudden death from here, and the same. Anyone finishing the year with total points, it's Tedesco and Haas in particular have been rested this week, I think. So pretty big news there, and it looks like Lolo and Turbo possibly will be late additions. So there's some possible moving and shaking that can be done if those guys get named to play this week. But it's going to be an interesting last couple of weeks, bud.
Yeah, mate. Look, I've just got the one trade left. I've got about 150k in the bank. So, yeah, when do you use it? Look, even if Tedesco and Haas are out, I can still field a solid 17. I'm not really relying on any sort of, mediocre players or anything like that. I think on my bench, I've got Moses, I've got Fisher Harris, Sean Johnson. So yeah, it's not too bad yet, but I'm just wondering, obviously head-to-heads this week, whether it's the right thing to bring in a gun or maybe sort of bring in that pod this week, or do I save it for next week and hope I qualify for all those grand finals? Just not too sure, mate. I'm not too. What have we got? Put Gomez in the chat. Give us some chat on how your Friday morning went, particularly with the missus. What happened on Friday morning?
Well, what happened last week, mate? We had a few shots, I think.
That was Tuesday night, so Wednesday morning. Oh, boys, the shots last week. Well, I tell you what, one of my best performances, that's for sure, deserved an Oscar. Fuck, mate, it hit you. It hit me. I think it was probably. Look, I watched the replay afterwards. I didn't get through too much of it. I was pretty embarrassed. I think it took me about 4.5 minutes before the vodka definitely kicked in. So, boys and girls, I definitely no water in those shots. They were all vodka, and I was hammered. Look, the misso's all right. She's a good bird. So, was not too impressed about having to go get me some wild turkeys mid-show, but did the good thing, and yeah, it was good. It was good. Anyway, we'll move on.
Oh, you were sweet, I reckon, Joshy, by the way. You were sweet. I think at one point there I was having a look. You're in your undies and all the show on the screen. But apart from that, mate, you were sweet.
Pants off Tuesday. But, mate, let's jump into last week's games. We'll get right into it because this time of the year, mate, I've had enough. I'll tell you what, I'm sort of done for the year. But anyway,
the struggle is real at this time of the year.
Mate, exactly right. Look, the Bunnies getting up over the Tigers, as we can see there, 26-24, the final score. Mate, I pulled one out of my ass well and truly here. About 2 minutes before the game, I traded out Stephen Crichton and I went to Campbell Graham. Got absolutely blessed. But they're the lucky little things you need to move up the ladder at this stage, mate. So worked out all right. Cody Walker had a good one. Cookie was all right as well. And mate, what are your thoughts on the Bunnies players at the moment for Supercoach teams?
Yeah, they're looking like they're going to be a bit of a good one to finish the year. Like you said, Campbell Graham, he's in a rich vein of form at the moment, and Walker looked really good in that first half. So Cookie's been consistent. They play the Dogs this week, but they finished with the Chooks. So I think, if you're playing head-to-head, they're probably a this week thing, and then next week you're probably going to be reluctant to have to play them against the Chooks. But, depending on what Trent Robinson does with rotations and resting blokes, it might not be as bad as, they might not be playing a full-strength Chooks. But, they're looking pretty good at the right time of the year. I was sort of thinking, that Melbourne game, they probably weren't going to be much of a chance, but they showed up. This one, they sort of fell asleep. The Tigers looked like they were maybe going to steal it at the end, but got the job done. Probably expecting them to be pretty convincing against the Dogs on Thursday as well. So, like I said, Cody Walker, Cookie, maybe guys like Murray, Campbell Graham, all targets still for this week if you're looking for something this week.
Yeah, I guess at this time of year, it's really just hard to pinpoint that player that's going to blow up. Like you said, you made a couple of changes there last week. It backfired with Fanua Blake, and going Cody Walker and Luai goes huge again. So, arguably there's 50 or 60 points you've let slip away, which sort of hurts. But it's a bit of a tough one. But mate, the Bunnies trending right towards the end of the season. I think Wayne Bennett's definitely timed that quite well. First game there on the Friday night, we had the 6:00 game, and I can't remember who played.
Dogs taking on the Eagles.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't remember. It's a shit-house game. Oh, look, at the end of the day, Cherry Evans has been huge of late. Anyone else who sort of got him in, I think, has probably seen green arrows in the last couple of weeks, because he's definitely hit form at the right end of the season. And I think we've sort of spoken about that, haven't we, mate? Like the Sea Eagles run over the last sort of few weeks is probably one of the easiest in the comp.
Yeah, definitely, and he's ended up being a massive buy after that Melbourne game. So he's now gone back-to-back tons, finished with the Titans and Warriors. So he's still very cheap, very buyable if you're still looking again for a bit of a differential for the last week or two. He just seems to be in everything. I guess the interesting thing will be, with Turbo back possibly this week, whether that means he starts to lose some of those attacking stats that he's getting. He's setting everything up. Possibly that starts to go to Turbo, but you couldn't not pick him based on that at this point of the year. He's in form, so that's one of the most important things.
Yep, definitely. Friday night football, mate. After that, the 7:50 game or whatever they turn to these days. Panthers and the Eels, mate. It was probably an interesting game to watch. I watched most of this, and the score line at the end of the day, I don't think really reflected the true nature of the game. I mean, Penrith were just absolutely all over the top of the Eels. The Eels really didn't show nothing in attack, but in defence they were probably, they stepped up quite well. So, from a Supercoach point of view, look, Nathan Cleary was obviously solid again. I think he downdated slightly from about 110 down to 104. Jerome Luai again, those sort of playmakers, and Joshy Mansour, mate, continues a cracking year for the left side Penrith winger.
Yeah, I mean, just all of them basically again. There was just points all over the shop. I think I said during the week, it's pretty crazy to think that for a team that only scores 3 tries in the game, that their two halves can both crack the ton. Wing goes big as well, but that just goes to show they're just constantly putting pressure on teams. I think they had a massive possession, sway of possession in this game. I'd hate to see, what the tackled in your opponent's 20 red zone sort of stats were as well, because they just seem to be all over them. It's probably, flattering.
That's the thing, wasn't it? It wasn't just possession; it was field position as well. They had the bulk of that possession was inside the Eels 20. So, mate, a few concerns with the Eels at the moment. I don't think they're missing too many players, and they just can't get that attack right. Obviously, Dylan Brown's gone now, but even while he was there over the past few weeks, their attack's just fallen away compared to what it was earlier in the season.
Yeah, look, they stayed with them. It looked like we're in for a good game, but they let that try in right on half time, and then Panthers ended up just going on with it. So yeah, I don't know what next. We've still last week we were saying they're a chance to take the comp out, but I don't know. They're going to have to turn it around pretty quickly if they're going to be a threat in the finals. That's for sure.
Mate, I've been trying to find a way out of Fisher Harris, and he bounced back quite nicely, 79 points. But I will say he did play 80 minutes. So, I don't know. It's just hit ups and tackles. There's no tackle bust like there used to be. There's no tries this year. There's no line breaks or anything like that. So, a little bit frustrating. But I think with that injury to Yo, that head knock, he played extended minutes last week. I don't think we'll see a repeat of that this week. Isaiah Yo heading into the finals will probably get some more minutes. Liam Martin's killing it on that right-hand side. He's combining with Cleary really good. So anyone who's sort of looking maybe a little bit of pot action, he could be it.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. Yo only played, managed minutes, 55 as well. So maybe he was a benefactor of Fisher Harris, a better factor of that one, mate.
Yep. First game on the Saturday, mate. Who do we have at the 3 o'clock slot?
It was the Dragons and the Raiders.
Yeah, look, I didn't catch any of this because I was working, but just sort of following the score updates and good boy, Zachy. Thank you, Zach Lomax. You've had an absolute perler of a game. I loved it. It was fucking brilliant. Look, -1 at halftime or whatever it was. I just, if it hadn't have been a shit day at work and I sold no bloody cars, I would have been happy. But, that took a little bit of the shine off it. But 10 points, I think he downdated to from 15, but absolute cracker of a game for any non-Zach Lomax owners like myself. Have you got him, mate?
No, I couldn't get him. I didn't start the year with him. He was one of those guys that stung me all year, him being a nofo. So it was kind of nice to see him not produce a 60, 70-point haul without doing too much.
Yep.
For once, probably the difference in why I jumped a few rankings this week, probably in the end. But yeah, the Raiders just smothered them, didn't they? Cody Ramsey under Boo looked good, mate. He scored a double. He kept the Dragons in it in that first half, but just a bit too much class at the back end for the Raiders. Whiten stepped up, scored a double, produced as well. Hudson Young had a blinder. Georgie Williams had a good game. Bateman produced as well, mate. So yeah, look, they'll go into the finals probably a bit under the radar. Whether they can actually cause enough trouble from that, probably in the bottom 4, I don't know, but they're probably going to cause more trouble than Cronulla or Newcastle, that's for sure.
Oh, mate, Cronulla are just a fucking speed bump, not even. But, the Raiders will definitely put up a little bit more of a fight. The 5:30 game on the Saturday. Who do we have?
Battle of the best Queensland team. It was dubbed all week.
Mate, wow. I actually caught a little bit of this game. Fucking hell. Broncos are just woeful. Absolutely woeful. Unfortunately for Supercoach this week, we'll see Payne Haas out. Scored solid last week, as we've seen most of the year when he's been playing. Him and Paddy Carrigan, playing big minutes and big scores. Carrigan actually probably played down minutes a little bit there over the weekend. I think he probably only pumped out about 50, 55. So a little bit down. Obviously, just manage his minutes there towards the end of the season. He's had a huge year. Look, not too much to look at out of this game. Probably the most disappointing for a few super coaches was AJ Brimson. Didn't perform quite well. He's not someone who I've had in my team and not looking to. But actually, I noticed the guy who was leading the super coach probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, that Big Dave team, he's down to about 40th or 45th now. So he's well and truly crashed out of it. And AJ Brimson's probably one of the big things in his team that sort of cost him. The Broncos. Yep.
I thought he looked probably pretty good. It just didn't turn into anything on the field. He's in everything. He's hitting the line and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, just didn't convert to any attacking stats on the weekend. So I still think in these last couple of games he's still going to be a good pod head to head. It's just it does hurt. At this point of the year, for a guy like that to pump out a 30, there was plenty of people banking on him doing well in that one. Same for Katoni Staggs, mate. He was a lot of people had him in brought him in for this game. I think we talked about him as well. But both of those boys pumping out the 30s really stung a few people this week.
No, definitely, mate. And I think you're right about AJ Brimson. And, you look at players like him and Dufty and Pappenhausen and, obviously Teddy sort of leads the way with performances for Supercoach. They don't really have that explosiveness that Teddy's got, great to sort of hit a hole or maybe create that sweeping play. But one thing is when Teddy makes a hit up, he busts 5 tackles every time. So you're getting an extra 10 points every time you make a hit up. These other guys just can't exactly do that. But, it's some good signs anyway. And hopefully he just keeps developing it there at the Titans. And, in years to come, we can see him become a little bit more Supercoach relevant. So, yeah. And the 7:30 game on the Saturday night, what did we finish off with?
It was Chooks giving us the sausage. 42-12.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big sausage.
Mate Tupou. Daniel Tupou. Huge again. Mate, you guys, look, again, watching this game and you listen to a fair bit of the commentary and they were sort of right. Like, the Knights were putting in, they were just outclassed. It was just one of those matches where you just come up against a more rounded team, basically in every single position. The Roosters were sort of dominant of you guys, mate. Like, I thought probably Clem could have done more. Forgetting Supercoach, just from a point of view of trying to get the Knights on the front foot and that, maybe they're just sort of saving him or something because, they're the kinds of games I like to see players play, high minutes in during the year. But with finals only 2 weeks away, maybe they're sort of thinking, that way a bit more. Not too sure.
Oh, yeah, it was all over in the first 20 minutes, mate. I think they'd scored 4 tries in that first 20. We bounced back with a couple, but I don't know. I always had a bad feeling about that one. I don't know. Even with Ponga out, there's no excuse he's not, in the front line making those tackles. So, I don't know. I just think, we had Barnett out. We got plenty of inexperience on those edges, and unfortunately they found us out big time. So, Kiri back to his best as well, mate. 140 after a couple of really quiet weeks. Looks like that rib injury or whatever it is that he was carrying is all sweet now. So, scored a double, set a couple up, had plenty of touches and Tupu as well. So massive scores across the board. Teddy, mate, I thought he was owed. He was sitting on low 80s after the game, and it looked like he was for all money owed another try assist for one of the tries there, and he ended up down dating a bit, which was pretty interesting. I think the scorers have been a bit all over the shop the last couple of weeks, so I was expecting him to update a fair bit, but it didn't happen in the end. So credit to anyone that didn't captain him in the end. 78's pretty quiet for a Chook side putting on 40 with him.
Mate, absolutely. Just in the chat, Chris Cole, a quick trade question. Do I go either Mann and Lomax to Crichton and Mansour or get rid of Haas instead and keep Mann and Lomax? I'm pretty sure Mann got a week, didn't he, mate? Did he get suspended a week?
I think he got a week, yep.
So, look, considering that, I'd be dropping Mann and Lomax. Angus Crichton and Mansour in is huge. So I think Crichton, though, might be back on the bench, but I think he'll start. Something sort of tells me that, again, getting sort of fitness levels into the finals, he obviously had a few weeks out there injured. So one to just have a look at maybe team list and how they sort of progress there, Chriso. Sunday footy, mate, and we saw Melbourne take on the Cowboys there at 4 o'clock game. And again, mate, the Storm just too good. Somehow, Arsley, mate, we sort of discussed it, trying to find that pod captain. And I went Cam Smith instead of Teddy and managed an extra 40 points as captain. So very happy with that one. Just the usual jamminess from Joshy. But, yes, very happy.
Yeah, look, I don't even think it was that pod. It was more just, I think Smith or Munster were looking pretty good. It was just a lot of people would have found, Teddy earlier in the week, possibly Cleary as well. So maybe just the timing of the game at the back end there. But, you finish with a massive sale there with 119. I think he set up the first couple tries. He kicks all the goals, he makes all the tackles. So the old boy's still doing it. Didn't get rested either, did he? He played the whole game. So, Yeah, and Munster as well got a double. Big Tina and Nass run all over him. Jerome Hughes got a bit of junk late there, helped me in draft against Mana. Cowboys sides of things. Somehow Hassan Masters has put up 80 points against the Storm. He scored a try, set one up. So, but yeah.
Look, mate. Other than that, he did nothing. Like the try was individual brilliance. The one he set up with that kick in the corner early on for Hammer, mate. We can see there Hammer's only scored 26 points, and that was a try after about 6 minutes. So, the Cowboys, you just don't really want to be on any of their players at the moment. You're just not too sure what they do week in, week out. So, mate, yeah, you're right. Look, Munster, huge. That was probably a quiet game for him. I know he scored those 2 tries, and they were sort of, one of them was given to him on a platter, and the second one was a nice bit of individual brilliance. But I can see him trending up over the next week or two, and he's a bloke I'm sort of scared that I don't have, because that can sort of be that pod that loses me the match week in or week out. So just have to wait and see.
Yeah, especially with Pappy out as well. He looks like he'll be the go-to man out the back there for most of it with Jerome. So
is Pappy back this week, mate? I hadn't checked the Melbourne teams list.
No, he's missing again.
Yeah, that hurts for some of his owners. So anyway, we'll see. That made Nico Hines looks good at the back. I think he's got a lot to learn, but it looks like they've just produced another player that can sort of do exactly what Billy did and develop further. So Bellyache knows exactly what he's doing down there. But final game on the Sunday. My boys getting up over the Warriors. Just a little bit of a tight game this one, a little bit messy. Unfortunately for the Warriors, the Sharkies ending their season or their finals hopes. I think, look, a lot of people at home were hoping that the fairy tale run could continue, considering what these lads have gone through for the year and how disrupted their team's been, and obviously having a player here out of Australia rather than their home. So, I'll sort of join in with everyone there. With how bad Cronulla's been, I sort of got that feeling that we really don't deserve to be in the top 8 this year. I thought we got absolutely blessed with the redraw once sort of COVID was finished, and I mean it's pretty clear we haven't beat any top 8 teams this year. We've beat everyone outside the 8. So I think we're just making up the numbers, and week 1 we're going to get bundled out pretty quickly. So from a Supercoach point of view, mate, Talakai, wow, he had a cracker of a game. I think he set up a try there, but tackle bus managed to put Peter Hicko on his ass at one stage there as well, which was fun to watch, and Talakai ran away laughing about it, which was good. Sean Johnson, mate, bit of a quiet one.
Oh, yeah, I think he set up your first couple of tries, but it was that was it after half time. I think he had a late line break as well, but I think a lot of people banking on him to produce. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It could have been better, but I think there was another one that Katoa also dropped late off a Johnson kick as well. So, look, at this point of the year, I know you've sort of said he's, Sean Johnson, he can do whatever against whoever, but they now finish with the Roosters and the Raiders. So, if you've got him this week and you're going to hold him, he's a big play against the Chooks. But, so they're missing a couple guys, so maybe it might not be as bad as it seems. So it's interesting now with the top 8 sort of defined how these teams are going to play. There's no point risking guys like SJ possibly doing a Hemi or something like that as well, because, the guaranteed finals, they can't really improve, get a home final. So there's not much point risking these guys and, smashing each other. So, it could be interesting the next few weeks, mate, next couple of weeks in terms of how teams manage their rosters and get ready for finals, given we've got that top 8 decided, apart from a couple of teams tinkering for the top 4.
Yeah, mate, look, I was keen to actually sit SJ out of my team this week, maybe even trade him to Munster. But obviously with the news today coming out with Tedesco and Haas out, unfortunately have not got that luxury. But, look, you're right. I think managing minutes, we see obviously Trent Robinson does it quite well, and a few other teams out there heading into finals. So we'll see sort of how do they manage SJ, because, having come back from that sort of groin and light hemi, Cronulla needs him on the field if they're going to win matches, that's for sure. For the Warriors, mate, Tohu Harris, huge again. Really hasn't got a massive ceiling this year, but I tell you what, I can't remember the last time he scored less than 70, so he's probably still only on about 2 or 3% of ownership the way it goes. I'm not too sure why, but people just seem to not be able to find a way to get him in their team.
Yeah, he's been Mr. Reliable. I think Marna had him in draft, so it was a bit bittersweet. I was sort of like, surely he's not going to play 80, but he did. He pumped out a 68 in base again, so he was good for anyone that's the few people that are on him.
Benny in the chat, I'd say Morgan Harper from the Eagles centre wings as left field play. Look, I wouldn't disagree. I've had Harper the last couple of years as sort of that cheapie, hoping to get a run. We're starting to see exactly what he can do at Manly, and I'm just not too sure why he never got the chance at the Dogs. Harper on the left, Averill on the right, and I'd have Hopewada at fullback, and I think that backline at the Bulldogs could develop into an awesome backline. Obviously, the biggest concern for them is Foran and the injuries and stuff that he gets, but now that Ockenbor's back, and there's definitely some potential there at the Dogs, and I just don't know why they let go of a young kid like that. We've seen him do some awesome things over there at the Eagles in the last couple of weeks. So that's the games for the week, mate. We'll jump on to the previews for next week. And Thursday night footy, Bogan, what kicks us off? Bunnies and Bulldogs. There we go. Talking about the Dogs, obviously we see Dallin Wateni's the Lesniak there on the wings. Timmy Laffey gets recalled into the side. Remus Smith in the centres and Ockenbor on the wings. So Averillo playing 6 for the time being. Made a good game last week. Got a bit involved.
Yeah, I think he's good. I don't know what his best position is. I don't know if he's a half, but he looked good there. He created for him there at one point. I think Dory's try was off him. So I think he looks really good. There's possibly something there for him, hopefully, if they want to push on with that combo. So he does look very good. Maybe in drafts you could be looking at picking him up. A bit hard against South, but something different. Some people may be forced into playing him in Classic if you still got him, which is not terrible now. He's playing 6, so yeah, he looks like a good footy player.
Mate, he's got speed. He's got power. He's light on his feet. I'm liking what I see. The eye test definitely gets passed. But you're right. It's just trying to figure out exactly what that position that's best for him. I think will be the biggest challenge there for the Doggies. And, mate, the Bunnies, look, we spoke about them a little bit earlier. What's the change here? Dan Gagai's out. So we see Paulo come back in, Allen to fullback. Mate, Corey Allen, what he was like last year, he's actually improved this year. And I'm not too sure where he gets to in the future, whether it's 2 or 3 years down the track, we'll see his best. But there is something there. I just feel like he's a little bit of a cat like Darius Boyd. That's the only thing.
No, I think he came in last year. He's shown this year's, and he's starting to show a bit of the potential we heard about last year. Because last year, whether it was that first year or whatever, but yeah, he actually showed a bit of promise in the last couple of weeks playing for him. So yeah, look, I think plenty of options for, as we talked about earlier, for South this week playing the Dogs. Possibly VC options. For Cookie if you got him, Walker possibly. Campbell Graham, mate, you've got him. Cam Murray, Jaden Sewell's actually looked really good as well. I don't think Supercoach wise he's probably overly relevant for Classic or anything, but yeah, I think maybe a little bit of a pod VC if you got any of those guys this week because South's looking they're tuning up well for finals.
First game on the Friday night, we've got Cowboys and the Panthers. Panthers travel up to Seabus Stadium, so hopefully the same day travel doesn't sort of knock too much out of them. It's going to be getting quite hot and humid up here now that spring's kicked in up in Queensland, so we'll see how that goes there. But the Panthers should just be too good. It's just where the Supercoach points are going to come from this week. Obviously, we've seen the consistency there of late with Mansour and Luai on that left-hand side. They look awesome. Crichton doesn't seem to be getting too much of the ball made out there, though. That was sort of why I dropped him last week. I'm just not too sure why he sort of gets missed out or what it is, because there's obviously a lot of talent there.
Yeah, I think just the nature of him. He's got to score a pie for you to be relevant in the week. He's not overly busy. When you got guys like Kickow and Mansour and the Y, these guys demand the ball as well. So, some weeks someone's going to miss out. I think there was a while there where it was Mansour that was missing out because Crichton was getting all the footy. So, it'd be good to see him try and get a little bit more involved. I think he's still as a rookie. Pretty easy to forget it, but he's very capable of scoring 2 or 3 in this game for sure. So, like you said, I think the biggest factor will be the travel and how they show up. They're probably due for a bit of a stale performance. They've won how many in a row now? 12, is it?
13, I think last week was.
Is it? There you go. Do they need that loss before finals? No Coruscant there, but you would expect them to get it done. That Cowboys side's just completely depleted. Fresh faces in everywhere. Lolo might be back, but you'd expect the Panthers to just keep on turning the screws at this point and possibly push for a big finish to the year.
Right, absolutely. And then the second game on the Friday night, we've got the Eels up against the Broncos. Look, the Broncos just want this season to get over. Obviously, Payne Haas, we've talked about him. He's missing. Brodie Croft was slated to come back into the side, but he copped a head knock. So we see Sean O'Sullivan is dropped and Tyson Gamble comes in. Look, I thought O'Sullivan was probably their most impressive player over the last 2 or 3 weeks. In attack, he puts on some big hits for a little fella. He has a crack. I think he was the least their worries. But, when you got a bloke like Joe Ofahengaue at 8 and you're starting prop and his defence is probably the worst in the comp, Parramatta might score some points this week. And, that's a bit of a blocker comment because they'll have to fucking win a football game. But I reckon they could put 40 or 50 on the Broncos with I guess, how stale they've been in the last few weeks themselves, maybe looking to turn it around.
Yeah, I think they just need to blow the cobwebs out. They need to get a bit of confidence back. Maybe this is the game they get, obviously, Reid Marnie back. So that's a big in for them. Obviously, their starting hooker comes back in. Yeah, yep. I just hope they can do something because I'm forced to probably play Sivo this week and I'm relying on him finishing the year well. So, I don't know. Your usual culprits in these ones for feeders and stags probably the only relevant really for pod-wise on the Broncos side of the park. And then, all your guffos maybe, with Pappenhausen out and Teddy out, depending on what you're doing. People might be looking at some pods like Guffo maybe. I don't know, maybe a bit left field, mate. But, yeah, look, you need Mitch Moses to step up in draft for me as well.
Oh, mate, yeah, look. Again, because of the Tedesco and Haas factor, I've had to play him again as a reserve after last week's 20 points. He sort of hurt me last week. Again, still a solid score, but, could have definitely been better. But question sort of surrounding that, mate, is with the outs of Tedesco and Haas, do you look at trading them this week? Like, is it more about a thing of, all right, if you've got a luxury of 4 trades left, you do? Or do you just hold and try and find points elsewhere?
I think the Teddy to Turbo trade would be pretty big, or even, the Pappenhausen to Turbo trade. I don't know. If you've got the luxury of trades and that's your last trade, would you pull it? I mean, I assume Tedesco will be back next week and he'll do.
How many trades you got left?
I'm done. I've got no decisions to make now. Yeah. The decision's made for me. If Haas is back next week, do you want him back? If Lolo's back this week, is it a no-brainer to go Haas to Lolo? I don't know. I think if you're playing cash leagues and stuff this week and you got to win, it's probably not a bad option to think about trading those guys this week. You got the luxury of the draw being pretty good, so you'll have the Cowboys first game on the Friday, so you'll know if Lolo's back. You could possibly look to trade Haas to Lolo. And similarly with Turbo, they play when are the Eagles? Yeah, so they'll be first up before the Roosters game. So I think it's a massive play, but it could be a big play, especially at the top end of the total, for the overall guys moving off these guys this week. It's hard to tell the future, mate. if Tedesco doesn't play next week, you'd want to know about it. But you probably want to play next week just to keep fresh for finals. So I would have thought maybe Tedesco to Pappenheisen would have been good again this week, but he hasn't been named either. So maybe Teddy to Trbojevic and Haas to Lolo is the moves this week, mate. Or is it Haas to Crichton? Possibly, who knows?
Mate, look, I think there's a little bit going on in the chat about a couple of the boys asking about Crichton. The tough part is obviously being named on the bench. Can't expect Sonny Bill to keep playing big minutes as impressive as he was last week. I thought he was awesome. I didn't think he still had that in him. So it was good to see that. But, with limited minutes there, does Boyd Cordner come back in and play a full 80? I'm not too sure.
Surely he doesn't play after what happened last week.
Oh.
Surely Cordner is not the play.
Look, at the end of the day, I think he's too proud as a footballer to sort of sit it out. Obviously, tragedy having the young cousin there pass away, but, we saw... there's a bit of talk, obviously, and you boys mentioned in the chat too, the camera work sort of staying on him during the minute silence and sort of what that was all about. But, he didn't back down from that. He looked impressive over the first sort of 20 minutes until he copped that sort of head knock in goal. It's come out that there was no sort of concussion. It was just he's done his job there, and emotionally he was sort of not ready to come back out. So, I don't know, mate. I think he just does. He's New South Wales captain. I think he's been Australian captain, hasn't he, the last year or two as well, maybe even. So, mate, I think he comes out and I think he does it. I think he gets the job done and plays 80 if there's no head knock there.
Oh, look, he probably will. I just figure, again, given the nature of the game, you're resting guys like Teddy and Takaho. He's only one head knock away from possibly missing first week of finals again. So why would you? He's had that long out already. Why would you risk it? But I'm not Trent Robinson. We'll see what happens. Yep. I still think Crichton will find his way in the starting side before
so do
the
I.
kickoff. He did it last week as well. He'll find it there, and whether he played the minutes he did because Cordner went off, it'll be interesting to see whether he still gets 80 somehow. But I think Crichton will be the smoky straight into the starting lineup.
Mate, he's just too good. Like, he probably doesn't have the ball playing skills that some other second rowers do, but I think lines-wise and defensively, everything in attack, I think he's probably up there with Lolo as the best second row in the game. I think probably from a Supercoach point of view, it doesn't reflect it as much, but first game there on the Saturday, mate. We just mentioned it. We've got the Sea Eagles up. They are playing the Titans. So, look, the name that's not there on the list is obviously at number 21 is Tommy Trbojevic. So, actually named alongside his brother Benny. So we'll see what happens there. God, it'd be good to see all three of them playing a game. Surely it's got to happen sooner or later. But they'll come up against the Titans. Look, it's really hard to sort of pick a winner out of these games lately. The Titans are, I don't think they're stepping up any kind of class, but they're just getting the job done against the worst of teams. They're a little bit like Cronulla at the moment where, you put them up against a top 8 team and they're never going to win. But outside that 8, they seem to have the wood on a couple of teams at the moment.
Yeah, this could be a good game of footy. I think Supercoach-wise, you got Brimo there on the Titans side of the park, so there'll be plenty interested in him. Whether Turbo backs up, you got Cherry there. I'm surprised Fanua Blake's still there. I'll be surprised if he plays, given the way he limped off. Plenty of guys with Tapau, Jakey Trbojevic, the roaming 6. I think he's in some shocking Supercoach form at the moment. 5'8" Trbojevic, he just passes a great ball. But, there's still some relevance there. I think Moe Fatoika looked massive last week as well. They were saying he's only like 19 or 20 years old. If that's the case, that pack's going to be insane next year. You think they're getting Fafita and Tino. He's a Queensland as well. You're looking at possibly Fafita.
I thought the same thing about Broncos this year. Like, Fafita,
that's
Haas,
the Queensland.
Carrigan.
That's 3 of the Queensland pack, surely. Fatoika, Tino, and Fafita. in the next, if it's not this year, in the next year two, surely. So, Anyway, some relevance there. Possibly people chucking a sneaky VC or something on Turbo as well if he's back. Or possibly Cherry Evans captaincies for people that are looking to get real loose. But yeah, some relevance here.
Yeah, well, your boys obviously a lot of people with that sort of Ponga and Teddy combination. The nice of the last of the week, so you can sort of wait and see. And if you still want to make that captain choice, you've got that flexibility too. So, mate, if Turbo comes back, I reckon he turns up.
I'd hate to be one of those blokes at the top end now. He
finds a way.
Imagine being, I think the bloke in first I was saying is 150 clear of second, so it's a bit of daylight second. But these outs with Haas and Teddy and Turbo and Lolo back throws a massive spanner in the works.
It's 50 grand in the winner. Like, you got to be dirty if you're this Hamish fella or whatever his name is. Like you say, 150, 160 clear. What do you do? What choice do you make? Like, it's a tough one.
I think he has to go. You have to go Teddy to Turbo if he's in, don't you? Just for the simple fact that the bloke's the guy that can score 150 and if you don't have him, he's going to cost you 50 grand.
Does he have any trades left?
That's the other thing as well, yeah.
We speak about it, and if you've used all the trades, you've run out last week, So, if you don't have those trades left, it'd be absolute tragedy if you could only field sort of 15 or 16 in that sort of top 20 or 30 blokes. But,
More with guys like Coruscant and Mann and, even Josh Maguire out this week. There's plenty of outs to guys that were a little bit relevant. So, it's going to be a bit of a shake to the end.
Definitely.
Mate, and then the 5:30 on the Saturday game, mate, it's Storm taking on the Tigers. So, plenty of relevance in the Melbourne side once again with Munster, Smith, Hughes.
Yeah.
Possibly people looking at pods from the Melbourne side, given their run home, whether you're looking at Kenny Bromwich. Nass has been massive. Tino's back on the bench. Nofo owners will be sitting tight in this one. So it'll be Nofo on that Okar. So you have to play him, given how he's been this season, leading try scorer, but there'll be plenty of people riding on him this week. It's a pretty big matchup, considering there's some head-to-heads grand final qualifiers.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure if you're a Nofo and you're happy with sort of 50 this week. Melbourne Storm just such a professional side, and that left hand with Josh Adokar and Justin Olam's been solid. There's a few teams that obviously found their way around them, but we'll just have to see come game day. I think, as I say, I'll be pretty satisfied if he can bang out a 50 plus. I'll be happy.
Which I think he's busy enough. He'll just do that anyway. Like, he's scoring at least 40 points without doing much. Interestingly, Little's not in the 17, which means anyone with Harry Grant still, if you do, that's possibly a massive positive there. Should be an interesting game. Harry Grant looking to probably turn up against his team that he'll go back to, I imagine, at the end of the year. So, and again, at this point of the year, what's there to play for? It'll be interesting to see whether Smith plays the full game, even Munster and Hughes. So if you're throwing captaincy on these guys, you might be a little bit nervous if they run away with it. But hopefully, if they're resting these guys, they've probably done a number by that time anyway, and they've probably scored a few points.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate, definitely. 7:30 game on the Saturday night, and it will be an absolute cakewalk for the Roosters. Doesn't matter that Teddy's not there; they will absolutely destroy us. Look, the Sharks have just got too many errors in them. The forward pack's just too soft this year. Hamlin-Uele hasn't stepped up as much as he could. Woods has been okay, but again, if Sharon turns up rather than Aaron, we're in a bit of trouble. Talakai's obviously been the shining light, mate. He's sort of forced his way in that starting squad. Obviously, Wade Graham out at the moment, but the Roosters, look, it's just a matter of where the points are going to come from, whether they're down the left-hand side, down the right-hand side. No Teddy this week, so up the middle is probably out of the question. I think you sort of lose that ability in the middle of the park. look, that left side looks absolutely lethal through Kiri, Josh Morris, Daniel Tupou. I wouldn't begrudge anyone bringing in any of those, especially considering they're up against Cronulla.
Yeah, BMOS might be looking good. Any of those wingers will be looking good. Obviously, Tupou's very much on the radar now, but yeah, it's funny. I think you guys have the worst missed tackle stats. You haven't beaten any team in the 8. It would have been an absolutely massive game for Teddy to play.
He would have scored. Yeah. He would have cracked the 200. Oh.
Yeah, it would have been looking possibly on. So, yeah, I think the only big thing will be watching whether Crichton finds that starting spot and then picking any of those guys 1 to 7. Maybe not Orbo. Ikavalu's named in the extended reserves there, so whether there's a late switch there, you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, not much else otherwise, mate. I think you blokes could be copping a massive sausage.
Mate, unless any injuries that sort of come up, I don't think we'll see any sort of changes. Obviously, Orbo, I think he runs out for game 302, which will equal Anthony Minicello. And then I think next week he breaks that Roosters record. So, look, I don't think so, and I hope they don't, because a bloke like this, he's put plenty of service into the Roosters over the years, and I think he sort of deserves that record with what he's done, all the positions he's played, and that. So, yeah, wait and see there. Mate, what do you made of Sonny Bill so far?
Oh, look, I think he's, for a bloke that's 35 years old that hasn't played much in the last 3 months or whatever it is, he's looked pretty good. He's still proven he's a bit of a handful. He's going to be an asset to the team as he picks up some match fitness over the next couple of weeks. He's got that offload. I think every time he ran the ball on the weekend, he found an offload, or if he did, he didn't. He beat a couple of guys and looked like he could get the offload away. So I think he's probably been a bit, I don't know if underestimated, but people probably writing him off. I think he's going to could be a big asset for him in coming into the finals. Just that second phase footy with guys like Teddy and Kiri running off the back of it, he could make a bit of a difference in the end.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm not too sure about is how he affects their structure. So defensively, there's a lot of weaknesses there coming out of the line, not sliding right, a few different things. Obviously, in attack, you're right, mate. The second phase play he offers is just awesome. But I just don't know how he sort of fits into Trent Robinson's sort of, game plan and that. But, mate, definite pod action for them off the bench. Comes on, sort of plays 30 to 40 minutes. Can create plenty. What else we got? Sunday.
2 o'clock on the Sunday, so we're back to 2 o'clock Sunday slot as well, which is good. That 6:30 Sunday slot is an absolute stinker. So I think we finish
Raiders
the
and
season
Warriors
with the 2 and the 4 o'clock games. But yeah, Raiders Warriors. So the Warriors have been playing some good footy. Whether all the Raiders players are as much options as we think they possibly still are. I'm still surprised the Raiders are risking for Parley given his shoulder niggle. I would have thought you would have given him a week or 2 off by now, given where we are in the season. But maybe some people looking for something loose at this point of the year. Jackie White and John Bateman, maybe some loose captaincy options. It's probably a bit hard to get past some other guys earlier in the round this week, but yeah, still some potential in this one, mate. I think on both sides of the park.
Yeah, look, definitely. I think one actually bloke who's impressed me from the Warriors the last couple of weeks since he came back from injury is Lachlan Burr. We looked at him last year and he performed quite well for Supercoach last year. Now it's a little bit hard to get him in this late, but with all the sort of loan players going home from Parramatta, I think George Jennings and Daniel Alvaro finished up their loan last week. He may see himself get some extended minutes. Mate, you're right on the Raiders side as well. Previously, we've sort of talked about him not being too Supercoach relevant, but Jackie Whiten and George Williams just seem to keep gelling better and better each week. And, again, this could be a week where they just completely outclass the Warriors and put plenty of points on and reward a few Supercoaches. So just waiting to see how that one pans out. And then the final game on the Sunday afternoon, how they put this on as a 4 o'clock game on free-to-air TV, I got no idea. You're fucking lunatics up against the Dragons, mate.
Yeah, it's battle of the head cases, really. I think if we're going to be taken, I don't know if we can be taken seriously anymore after the last month we've had, but surely we have to get the job done here with Ponga back in the side. Tex Hoy's going to get the 6 jersey. Lino's out of favour by the looks of it. Barnett's back. So the forward pack's a bit stronger now. Safidi back into the starting side. Dan Safidi back into the starting side. Dragon side of the field.
Edric Lee, mate. I fucking love him.
He's a bit of a... I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with him, but he's been actually really good since he's come to us, to be fair.
Mate. He's fucking useless, but he comes up with those 3 or 4 plays a game that you're just like, what the fuck? How did he do it? Yeah. And then he'll just drop sitters and he'll just, yeah. So, but mate, definitely a character of the game, which is good.
Yeah, look, and Clemmy, possibly if you're looking for something different, you could chuck the C on Ponga this week. Again, I think you might find it hard to get past some guys earlier in the week if you've still got your captaincy to play by then. You're probably doing pretty well. But, yeah, in Lomax, everyone will be hoping he can bounce back. I think plenty of people talking about trading Lomax this week, mate, as well, just because I think, who do they finish with next week? I think they have a pretty tough game next week. Melbourne. So, yeah, plenty of people looking to get off him. I don't know. I would have thought people have bigger problems at this point than to sell a bloke averaging, 60 plus, who kicks plenty of goals, who looks like he can score, try at any moment. So, Ramsey's there. Obviously, no Kurt Mann as well, so that hurts Man owners this week. McInnes back at 13. Well, he's still at 13, rather. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, mate, look, again, I'm sort of dirty that I haven't had McInnes all season.
You still don't have him?
No, I haven't managed to get him in, mate. I think about probably 6 weeks ago I went Cam Murray just instead. Just sort of that bit of pot action, and it really hasn't worked out any better. Maybe a little bit worse, but not too much. But I really thought that when Benny Hunt went to 9 that he just sort of quietened off. I thought, the 70s and 80s would turn into, maybe late 40s to 50s. But he seems to have kept up the work rate. I think it was last week's game, not... I don't know who they played, but yeah, there was one game there where I just thought he was so active, McInnes. I thought he'd actually, maybe even cracked the 100. I think he updated from about 78 to 94 or something 2 weeks ago, and that was huge. So yeah, he hurts not having him, mate. But I looked at Dragons, these two teams, beyond Clemmer and probably beyond Ponga and maybe Barnett. Paul Vaughan's weak. Benny Hunt's had his time. Yeah, mate, I just think this week finishes out basically with your C on Ponga if you want to wait that long.
Yeah, I might find it for him, possibly. Depends how bad I'm going in my head-to-heads. I'm in 2 cashies and I've got to win both of them to get some cash, so I might be needing to throw it on him.
Yeah. And what do we got? That's it. Trades. I ain't got none. You got none. I got one left.
I'm done.
What
are you doing?
I got one left. Play the intro.
Roll the intro.
Let's roll. It's tough. Obviously, Teddy out, Haas out. I think if they were in, I was going SJ to Munster. I think Cronulla up against the Roosters, up against Canberra. I don't think you can expect too much more out of Munster, out of SJ than probably 50 points in either of those games. I don't think we'll score too many tries. If we can get sort of 16 or 20 points on the board in each game, he doesn't even really kick that many goals. So, yeah, I'm sort of forced to hold him now, which sort of sucks. There's no one really I want to move Haas to. Obviously, Clem's up there that I don't have. But Carrigan and Fisher-Harris are probably the next 2 best performing in the front row. And I've got no dual position changes there, so I can't really sort of stuff around to bring in a second row. I can't go Haas to to Lolo, which sort of sucks because that's probably the one thing. And then the other option there, mate, is just Teddy to Turbo, take the pod move, and the man, they got a sort of easy run as well with these last 2 games. It's just in my back of my mind, like why would you even bring him in? Like with the history that he's got, Turbo, just let him have the off season. Let him. You can't make the finals. You can't do anything with him out. Without him there, you've still got a good enough team to win your last 2 games because you're playing no one. So, mate, yeah. Look, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to wait to see if he actually gets named Turbo.
You'll do it. You'll go to Turbo.
Probably, I will do it. But yeah, I will do it. Yeah. Anyway, what else, folks? We've got the leagues.
So we've got the leagues up with the group. So Kevin Durant, with Hamish with Kevin Durant. He top scored for the week with 1430, so a bit of a low scoring week.
Nice.
Dan with Badonkadonk is top of the group at the moment. He's sitting 46th overall. Got Jono with the Mighty Bears. He's sitting 70th overall. And
what's Lockie with DVS?
He's 107, so he's just shy of the top 100.
See, Lockie, mate, you were my tip, mate. You've done shit.
And you've got the cunning stunts sitting in 96. So we've got a few in the top 100, and a few trailing just behind them.
Kando's up there. Very
good.
100
points off top 100 or so. So definitely make up a wall.
Absolutely. And moving to the leagues, folks.
So, the BJ and GameDay League semi-finals are set.
Semi-finals. Kando and Marty.
Yep.
Me and Gomez.
Yep. So it's star-studded semis in the BJ League.
So who did we have last week? I bet you Hampton. And Marty got over Macca. Woof. Jeez.
Low scoring.
12:35. Yeah.
Have a go at him. Get out of here. Fucking.
So Gomez, I haven't checked our teams. How do we match up, Gomez? I better have a look. Look, I think Kando's got to be odds on for the final. The way he's gone through the whole season, barring any kind of sort of tragedy, I think he's probably $1.20 odds at this stage. But anyway.
Marty's looking to back-to-back head-to-heads. I think he took this league out last year. He's looking to defend the crown, mate.
He's been very average this year, but he's getting the job done. So, yeah, but I think overall he was struggling a little bit this year. Yeah. But, he finished third in the league. What do we got next, mate? BJ and GameDay League all in or 2?
All in, we'll see Trent with Killer Coronas up against myself, and Riley with Polly's Pocket Rockets up against Call Me Big Puppy with Tomo.
Flying the flag for us there, Bogan. Come on, mate.
Come on, Bogan. You got it, yeah.
He was hoping.
Come on, Treno's had a cracking year as well, so let's see you get over the top of Trent. I think he's about top 1,000.
He's sitting, hovering around there,
yeah. And the BJ and GameDay 2 League, mate?
Yep.
Oh.
So...
Well, we're going to be in one final at least, mate. That's good.
Well, we're going to be in 2 when we get to the draft. But, yes, we're going to be in at least 2 finals on our grand final show next week. So, Dean, agony of defeat. Will he feel that against big ballers from Tim? And then myself up against Josh King.
There we go. We'll have to... Bogan, I don't know. I don't think you got the team to beat me this late this season, mate. You seem to be faltering.
Well, pretty close to you, but most weeks.
You stumbled. Well, no, you're right. But I think earlier in the year, you sort of actually had the wood on me in Hampton. You were leading the way. But anyway.
Captaincies
no
will be
stamina.
big this week.
No
I reckon
stamina.
you've got
Too
template
many
teams.
Garys.
Template team, you boys. Probably dead same.
Yeah. And what have we got after that, Bugs?
The draft.
I don't give a shit. Go to the next one.
So I got absolutely fucking pummeled by Kane Anderson by 400 odd points. Well, 300.
Holy shit! What happened?
300. Mate, the fucking Lomax and Teddy didn't score as high
Wouldn't
as
have mattered.
usually. Oh,
They could have scored
but
200 each, and you
lots of
still would
my
have lost.
fucking players didn't score as much as they usually do.
Who's Kando got? He scored 1,050 and we don't do captain.
Yeah, and he's
scored
rape traded
1,000.
he's rape traded his team to like all-star status. So
He scored 1,000 like 2 or 3 times in the last 5 weeks. We're literally playing for seconds.
Oh.
Yeah. And
The boys got it.
And me
Wow.
with my team, basically based around fucking Teddy, I'm fucked. So, barring a miracle, Brent Hampton will be going through to play Kane Anderson, but at least we'll have.
Listen to it.
Oh, it's all good up.
He's
He's putting it on there.
down.
Yeah.
But
Stop it.
But at least
Bogus. I've no chance. I can't win. Oh, poor me.
better
look,
trade
next week I won.
Better trade me some players, guys, who are out.
Yeah, look, I think, like I said earlier in the chat earlier in the week, we're all just playing to be sodomised by GameDay next week. So you never know. But the blokes,
when he's scoring 300 points more than everyone fucking else, like, it's hard not to put him as a very, very short price favourite.
Oh yeah, it's Parramatta 01 if he doesn't take it out.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Is there
Shortest
worse than
price.
that, or are they the worst?
I think they're the shortest priced team to ever lose a grand final.
That was fucking hilarious.
What else we got?
That's it, gents. So unless someone in the chat.
Let's just summarise a few things as well. So, guys, next week will be the grand final show. Are we going to do another one after that to wrap up?
It might be a couple of weeks after, because I think we need a break.
All right.
But we are going to do.
What we'll do
is, and it's Josh's idea last week, is we are going to have an awards show. So to celebrate.
So we're going to do the BJ Game Day Awards.
Yeah.
Similar to Dally M's. So the
grand final.
Liam Knight gets the biggest cunt award.
Yeah, well,
that's just a given.
It's just a given. But we'll be doing an award show and congratulating the fans.
Ben Hampton finishes runner up.
Yeah.
But so guys, on the Facebook page, we're going to throw out do a few polls and things like that, and we'll just do it, just for shits and giggles, get a bit of a laugh out of next week, because obviously we won't have to preview any, too many games or anything like that. What else is there? The other thing, Hampton, mate, a couple other things started this week. We've got the boys for an NFL season. We've joined Shano's league.
Right, Shane.
We've got Premier League started.
Is Shane going to do a weekly show that we can all watch and jump in?
NFL on game day. Yeah, probably he should do.
Him and Tyson can do the
BBL. The BBL will start up soon as well.
BBL's going to be shit this year.
BBL starts up. We got
fucking terrible.
Supercoach racing starting up. So look, I said I wasn't going to go Supercoach racing. Then Marky, one of the guys who watches, he's got a team, Marky's Muppets, in one of our leagues. He's asked me to jump on board. So we're going to get into Supercoach racing again this season. I can't get away from this shit. It's ridiculous. Wake up in the middle of the night, checking
this hasn't been
checking NFL.
This hasn't been,
and I got no idea about none of this shit.
This hasn't been discussed with the guy that does the fucking graphics for the race day show. So
no, we're not. No, Breaks. You missed the point. I'm not doing any shows.
Okay.
I'm not doing any shows.
Okay.
I'm just playing. I'm just partaking in the Supercoach sport because, mate, I don't want to do. I'm quite happy to have the off season
but this
and come back for pre-season NRL next year.
To show a little bit behind the curtain, you were saying that last season too, and then literally 2 weeks after the show, you're like, Supercoach Racing, can you do up some graphics? And it's like, okay.
Just block me. Just block me then. Just block me for the next 6 months. Oh. But Yeah, so plenty going on, boys and girls. What else is there? Anything else, Hampton? Got anything to add?
No, we were just talking about, we'll probably run, me and Bo were talking last week about doing drafts for next season and all that sort of stuff. We'll sort all that out. We'll probably have a couple of drafts, Joshy. One for the, the usual larrikins, and then the whatever other one we're going to run. Yeah, the Premiers one. So that should be good. Yeah, obviously, good luck everyone. Yep.
I was just thinking, do you want to do a 10-man elite classic league next year or something like that?
Let's put the open challenge out to the other fucking YouTube channels. So all you cunts out there,
I did this last year as well.
All you other cunts out there that watch other fucking Supercoach shows, tell them that the BJ challenge is on.
We want a podcast / YouTube channel.
Get onto the NRL fantasy gurus and all those cunts like that, and say that the challenge has been laid forth for an all-star YouTube / Facebook Supercoach league.
There you go. Oh, I hope they can. I hope someone joins in.
And point them in the direction of the fucking Facebook group. And then Joshy can organise it.
A non BJ on Game Day affiliated cash leagues as well. We'll look into those.
Yeah, non-YouTube affiliated, because us people here on YouTube, we don't support gambling whatsoever. But we also support freedom.
So we'll chuck a poll up on Facebook as well, how much you want it for. 20, 50, 100, 200, whatever it might be. We'll sort of run a poll, see who's keen for what.
Yeah. No, otherwise, thanks everyone for the support for the year. It's getting, this is it.
Yeah.
Second last one of the year. So good luck in any of your head-to-heads.
Big show.
Finish the year strong.
Big show next
if you've got any trades left, good luck with those, and finish it off next year. So thank you.
All done, boys. Catch you all next week, guys. Cheers. Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day, and on Twitter we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.